Here you go. Gordy. Carrie.
How would you like to never make a decision ever again? Would it be pleasant to no longer be burdened by choice? Or could it transform your existence into an Orwellian-like dystopian hellscape? Hopefully we will never have to find out. However, the ban on smoking across the United States is only the tip of the spear in the assault on Americans' individual rights. First, I'll tell you about how the banning of cigarette smoking in public spaces is a blatant violation of your constitutional rights. Second, I'll shine a light on the government's war on tobacco and their munitions of myths and half-truths. And third, I'll describe the potential consequences of conceding this fight to Big Brother. Now let's take a closer look at the immediate casualties of this conflict. A significant portion of the American population is having its rights taken away. As of 2009, roughly 45 million adults in the U.S., that's about 21% of the population, chooses to smoke cigarettes. And that's according to Joseph Bass, President and CEO of the Heartland Institute. That's 1/5 of Americans that are being bulldozed by bureaucratic bullies who think they know what's best for everyone. Smoking bans are being applied to publicly funded outdoor spaces. Cigarettes are heavily taxed at the state and federal levels, and much of those tax dollars collected on tobacco sales are used to fund public parks, buildings, universities, and sports stadiums. One example of the outrageousness of this smoking ban is in 2011, New York City outlawed smoking in Central Park and in Times Square. Now, what do these prohibitive ordinances and laws aim to accomplish? Well, the government is working to eliminate cigarettes completely. Many proponents of the crackdown on cigarette smoke would have you believe that the anti-smoking movement is not only for the good of non-smokers, but for the well-being of smokers as well. In November of 2014, Westminster, Massachusetts, was goose-stepping its way towards becoming the first town in America to make the sale of tobacco products illegal. The New York Times' Catherine Seeley wrote that many Westminster residents felt that they perceived that the ban as a frontal assault on their individual liberties. Anti-smoking advocates don't want you to know that their campaign present only the facts which benefit their cause and exaggerate the health effects of smoking and secondhand smoke. 19th century philosopher John Stuart Mills once penned, "The only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent the harm of others. His own good, either physical or moral, is not a sufficient warrant." Now, these anti-freedom combatants want to impose their will on you. They will twist the truth as a means to scare you into an obedient posture. They propagate that the myth of over 90% of cases of lung cancer are caused by smoking. However, the Lung Cancer Alliance maintains that half of lung cancer victims have never smoked. Now, some of you may be asking yourselves, why should I, a non-smoker, protest the smoking bans? Well, if the erosions of smokers' rights are allowed to continue, which segment of the population will have their rights stripped from them next? The anti-smoking movement is just one example of how the government is trying to rescind our individual rights. Past actions best predict those of the future. And if we do not stand against those who wish to chip away at our rights today on this issue, what would deter them from dismantling all of our freedoms in the future? We've covered a lot of ground this evening. Perhaps a recap before we settle in for a nightcap. Initially, we learned how the rights of the individual are being trampled upon. Then we uncovered the numbers game propping up the anti-smokers' agenda. Lastly, we contemplated a bleak future for the people of the United States. No longer can you stand on the sideline. The ball is in your court. Will you make a move?